At this point, when you're getting a $50,000 purchase order, are you guys Apple Inc. or are you
I'm working for Hewlett Packard, and my salary is $25,000. I got so scared, I had Hewlett Packard send a description of the personal computer to every one of their divisions, and they all turned it down.
But I mean, are you when somebody's writing a check to you and Steve, are they writing it to Apple Inc. or that's not even a company yet? They're just writing it to two guys that live in Palo Alto.
We weren't Inc. This was a partnership for that Apple I phase.
Yeah.
And people would just loan us money. I think just to Steve Wozniak or something.
Yeah.
Good friend from high school. We did have a name, Apple Computer, as a partnership. It's formed as a 3-person partnership. And partner who had 10% sold out after a few weeks.
Is it right that it's a mystery to everybody why it's called Apple?
Well, Steve Jobs, one time I picked him up at the airport and we're driving down 101 or something, and he said, I got a great name for the company, Apple Computer. My first response was, what about Apple Records? Well, they're a record company, we're a computer company. I said, that's all it takes? He said, yeah. And it's funny because we lost hundreds of millions of dollars to the Beatles.
You got sued
to the
by
Beatles, and then we lost more huge money to the lawyers that we sued for losing the case. No, but it was just such a great name. Who could ever turn that down? Those were the days you didn't need to have a technical name that said what your company does. You could be anybody. It was a fun-loving time. And on the last day of Dancing with the Stars, the finale, when we all came back, long before it was going to go on the air, I was sitting up. Almost nobody was there, and I was sitting up on the balcony right next to a doctor who had treated my horrible wound, which you didn't talk about, my hamstring wound. Cost me a week of practice. And I sat next to him. He said that his brother worked on that farm, was up in Oregon with Steve, and it was his brother that went up to Steve and said, "I got a great name for your company."
Wow!
No
so
way.
That's the real far-off truth. Yeah, I don't know if that's ever told.
But you believe that story?
Totally.
Wow.
Oh, totally. Somebody, no reason to make anything up, and there weren't that many people on that farm. Oh yeah.
Scott said something that would never have occurred to me, but he thought that the Apple logo with the bite taken out of it represented Eve biting the apple of the tree of knowledge.
No, it's
the forbidden fruit.
After you have something you like, you kind of say, well, what are some things that we could say about it?
Right.
So I'm sure it's been said. But what happened was Mike Markkula put in the big money to build 1,000 computers for the Apple II.
Yeah.
He put up the money. He was a third equal partner. We had 3 equal partners. And he was the adult in the house. He told us how you form a company, who you hire, what their responsibilities are.
He was the marketing guy at the time?
He was into marketing, pushing marketing. Steve Jobs could never consider doing any engineering. He didn't really know engineering. He couldn't design things. He never knew what computer hardware software was, really.
Mm-hmm.
I could get into more stories about that. But so Steve wanted to go in the marketing direction and the business and the speaking and learning how everybody operates in a company. But he didn't really there wasn't a title that he could have yet.
America. If you thought Jackass Forever was crazy, oh boy do I have a show for you. It's a multimedia comedy show called The Bucket List Tour. And the stuff I filmed for this show is way too hot for Jackass. Like the General Anesthesia bike ride, the vasectomy Olympics, and skyjacking. The footage is so intense, we have full-grown men passing out at almost every city this bus goes to. So if you think you can handle it, get your tickets right now at stevo.com. Yeah.